What's going on, Eternal Soldiers? Eternal 316 here. Oh my god, okay. So, I wanted to make a second video on my thoughts on The Last Jedi, because I'm still, collecting thoughts. And I've been surfing YouTube and listening to different fans' point of views and, both sides of the argument, I guess. Because, I try not to be a biased person, man, and I try to listen to everybody's point of view on things like this. And I have to admit that although I didn't like a lot of the directions that Rian Johnson took with The Last Jedi, a lot of the other fans were saying, we're saying things like, at some point, we are going to need to go in a completely different direction. Because the reason why is because this whole thing about you can't please all the fans, at some point, needs to end. And the thing is like, you have some fans who love the prequels, you have some fans that hate the prequels. And that kind of plays a part when making a new Star Wars trilogy, because some of the fans want you, like me, want you to keep to the legacy of all the Star Wars films, the prequels and the sequels. But then there's some that want you to just stay to the legacy of the sequels. Or the original films, is what I'm saying. And the thing is when Disney bought this franchise, they had a very tough task in front of them. They had to create a trilogy or attempt to create a trilogy that would make everybody happy, or as much as they possibly could, which is kind of impossible to do. So I do take that into consideration, that, not every Star Wars film that Disney puts out is gonna, please every Star Wars fan. I also understand that again, they have to go in a completely different direction. They have to go in a direction that will set a new tone, so to say, that will create a new path. And so from that point of view, and it's not like they didn't mention the prequels, you know what I mean? Despite its problems with it did mention Luke Skywalker in the movie, did mention the rise of Darth Plagueis and the failures of the Jedi Order and all that. So it's not like they're completely abandoning the prequels. It's not like that they're, just totally disrespecting it. Did they, in my opinion, disrespect some of the Skywalker legacy? Yeah, they did, because, they didn't really keep to Luke's character, and they destroyed the lightsaber. But, at the same time, again, I understand that they need to go in a new path, I get it, because they can't be held to the same criticisms as before. They have to create a whole new lane, so to say. So I understand why they made The Last Jedi the way they did. I get it. I may not like it, I may not agree with it, but I get why. So, another thing I want to talk about is, I read somewhere that some of the Star Wars fans are bashing George Lucas for The Last Jedi. I don't understand how you could blame George Lucas for that. He was not involved in The Last Jedi at all. Like, the thing is y'all don't understand something. George Lucas, when he sold to Disney, that was him breaking up with Star Wars. Like, he was done, you know? And technically, if you don't like the fact that Disney is making Star Wars films, then technically that's your fault because because you put so much hate on George Lucas for the way he told his story. This is what a lot of these fans don't fucking comprehend, bruh. Star Wars was George Lucas's story to tell. It wasn't ours. It wasn't my story. It wasn't your story. It was George Lucas's story to tell. And if you don't like the way he did his prequels, that's fine. But y'all shouldn't have hated him so damn much simply because you didn't like it. Now that he's not involved at all with Star Wars, you still blame him, bruh? I don't understand that. How could you hate George Lucas when he didn't even make The Last Jedi? He was not even a part of it. You know? You could probably blame him for selling it. I can understand that. But again, that all revolves around the fact that he was getting hate from y'all. You know? He just didn't want to deal with the bullshit no more. He didn't want to deal with the criticisms you know, he didn't want to have to deal with the hate that he was getting for telling his story. You know? And I kind of feel bad, bro, because if I created a saga like Star Wars, I wouldn't want people to try to dictate how I tell my story. You know, that is my story. And I wouldn't want people to try to steer the direction of my story, you know? So, I am kind of backing George Lucas's decision because I get why he did it. I get where he came from. But all this hate, like all y'all blaming George Lucas for the failures of The Last Jedi, that shit needs to stop, bruh. Y'all are just being stupid and dumb and y'all are blaming the wrong people, bruh. If you want to blame someone, blame Kathleen Kennedy. Because she's in charge of Lucasfilm now. She's in charge. So y'all need to blame her, not George Lucas, okay? Because George Lucas didn't... In fact, George Lucas gave Disney ideas for the future movies, but they declined George Lucas's ideas. So Disney and Lucasfilm just said, "Fuck you, George Lucas, you're not involved no more." You know, so don't blame George Lucas when shit like The Last Jedi goes astray. Blame the ones who are responsible, bruh. But yeah, man, I just wanted after I made my video, I read up upon all this stuff, and I don't know, like something told me, you know what, maybe I need to explain myself further instead of just uploading that review, you know, and tell you guys that I see things from all the point of views, you know. Was it my favorite Star Wars movie? Of course not. Revenge of the Sith will always be. Do I think that this is one of the worst? Yes, I do think this is one of the worst. But at the same time, I do understand why they had to go in a different direction as well. It's because, you know, bottom line is at some point they're going to have to go in a new direction, you know. The best stories have already been told in the originals and in the prequels. The best stories have already been told. And once those stories and planets and, you know, different visuals have already been shown, there's only so much you can do. You know, I mean, the Chosen One has already come. He brought balance to the Force. Anakin destroyed the Jedi and the Sith. So, and The Last Jedi confirmed that shit, that there's no Jedi, there's no Sith. So, what other the only direction they can go down is the one that they're going down right now, you know? So, it is what it is. But I just wanted to give y'all my you know, I guess, second opinion, I guess, on this Star Wars matter. I have a lot of things that I plan to do. Like, I'm going to update my background here. I ordered some posters and stuff that's going to that's going to change the way this looks. I'm going to start vlogging a lot more. I just don't know about what yet. Again, I'm still trying to figure out the direction of my channel. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I just wanted to upload another video talking about Star Wars and let you guys know some of the updates that's going on. And hope everybody's blessed. You guys have a good day. Eternal 316 is signing off. My salute to the Eternal Soldiers. And I'm out. Peace.